Hi again, and another in the series on books on martial arts. And the book we're going to look at today is this one. It's my rather battered old copy of The Medical Implications of Karate Blows by Bryan Adams. Now, Mr. Adams was an exponent of Kempo in the United States, the system taught by Ed Parker, and Ed Parker actually writes the foreword to the book, and it's a study of the effects of the strikes that are taught within not just Kempo, but it more or less applies to any system. It's pretty broad based. So there's a very representative selection of striking techniques. I'll just mention briefly what they are. The book gives how the technique is performed photographically. So striking the forehead, ears, temple, bridge of nose, spot under the nose, jaw, throat, back of the neck, so on, so on, so on, so. Then there are anatomical diagrams, which are drawings, very well done, very clear, showing the effects of strikes. And very, very wisely, he includes a range of possible effects. He doesn't say this will happen, from minimum to maximum, in terms of damage. And the book really serves several purposes. It serves to alert everyone as to the necessity for safe training, and it also allows you to judge whether the techniques you'll be using in a self-protection situation would be the best choice to use. Now, all men will shudder at the chapter on striking the groin, and the diagrams within. It explains it quite well. Just to take it on to a human level, when I first started training in Shotokan, we didn't wear groin boxes, groin protectors, and some friends who were training in a different school, they used to use it routinely. They used to put cricket boxes, and I was with one day, and he mentioned something about it. Got hit in the box, and I didn't understand. And when he explained it, I thought that might be a good idea, and I bought one. And the very next session, I took a back kick straight into the testicles, and it would have been fairly crippling, I would imagine, had I not been wearing a box. So from then on, I used to wear one for a long time, and then I kind of stopped, and then all the time I was in Japan I never wore a box, and took a lot of groin strikes in Japan, to the point where it didn't really have that much effect. You could take a groin shot just the same as you could take a kick on the leg or a strike to the abdomen. You got used to it. Now, having said that, in my experience, the most effective strikes to the groin are not the heavy crushing blows, although if you did that to a downed opponent, in the Fairbairn technique of using the sole of the foot to crush the testicles, that would be effective. But in a mobile opponent, a light flick tends to be the best or the most effective. And this was illustrated one day when we were training. The class hadn't started, we were just warming up, and Paddy Phillips and one of the guys whose name was Gary were doing just some very light sparring. Gary came in with a front kick. Paddy turned away doing what was called a taisabaki, a body evasion, where you turn your hip, and as he turned his hip, he flicked with the backhand to Gary's groin. Man down, hospital. Big swelling, and it required surgery. and it was the lightest flick you've ever seen. So that's just an insight into one of the strikes talked about in the book. Overall, without taking anything away from Mr. Adams' research, I think the human body is a lot more resilient than the medical professions. He had input from doctors on this book. The medical professional would have you believe. If you take the field of wound ballistics, for example, doctors will, particularly pathologists, and sometimes they give evidence about this in court, will say, having been shot in this area, the victim could not have done X, Y, or Z, whereas witnesses and sometimes even video shows that they did. That the body is capable of immense feats of survival and the ability to absorb punishment in many, many ways. And we see this now because the martial arts have gone into the mixed martial arts and full contact, and we see what the body can absorb. It's quite an old book, really. I'll just give you the date of publication. 69, and I bought it when it came out, so it's been around a long time, and I still like it. I think it's a book that comes at training from a unique angle, and from that perspective, it's got a place on my bookshelf.